Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
What do you want to say right now? I mean, before we talk about the whole sacking of Nuri Sahin, but how are you feeling? Like when you have to compare Dortmund to maybe say a Manchester United.
Yeah, that's very sad. Very, very sad. Because it's Dortmund has a very good let me put it this way. They have a very good academy. They really do. They're young players. Basically, and we've already said this before, that Borussia is basically like a farming team. Like all their really good players end up leaving Borussia and then go to uh Manchester City, Bayern Munich for one, ends up poaching a lot of them. Manchester United, they go to EPL. They go to, yeah, mostly EPL, German league. They stay in Germany, but they end up going to Bayern Munich. Um, but with the whole thing with the coaching and everything, and then you're sacking Nuri Sahin. Honestly, I felt like they were doing pretty decent. It's just they've had a very bad run recently, a very bad
I mean,
run. I
as far as Nuri Sahin goes, I mean, how did you feel about that? That was the guy they pointed after Eden left. Obviously, was able to get that team to the final. Which I mean, I think in some sense we knew that there was a sign that maybe Borussia Dortmund. Besides, if you look at the Champions League, because what a run that they had for the Champions League. But
oh yeah,
as far as like the league goes, because they finished in fifth last year, right? And
yeah,
and the only reason why they qualified for Champions League was because of the fact that the other three teams that was essentially the semifinalists for the Champions League were already in an automatic Champions League spot.
yep.
So I mean, even regardless of if Bayern Munich have won, Real Madrid who did win, but or PSG won, they would already have a spot in the Champions League because of where they were on their league table. Whereas Borussia Dortmund was actually in a Europa League spot,
Yeah.
and so they were like, all right, F it, you guys get the automatic Champions League spot. So I mean, and I know at least when I was talking to Jose, because Jose also has like similar to you has a soft spot for Borussia Dortmund. Uh, felt like that was just like I guess like a participation trophy. It's
Yeah, it was
like
like here you go. You did good. Here's a sticker.
yeah. So I think yeah, it was one of the, but I mean that was the reality, right? Like they were gonna be in the Champions League regardless. But but yeah, you look at this season right now, Nuri Sahin, who I think this was his first coaching job.
Yep.
Um, obviously well known for his time at
Well,
Dortmund.
well known, well known. Yeah.
So, um, I don't know how you feel now because obviously with Barcelona how it panned out with Xavi. Are you at this point just like kind of off with the former team player coming in and coaching? And are you kind of over that now, or you
No, not really, because you got to think about it this way too. Xavi he may have been a player coach, he may have been a player's manager kind of stuff, but he was doing the whole expectation like Pep. Like he was doing the whole being strict about it, their dieting, their exercising kind of stuff like that. It's just I guess maybe because he did see a lot of those players at the same time that he was there. It's not like they didn't respect him. It was more of like, oh, I know how he is. He's lenient, he's gonna be very chill. Or, like kind of like they take it easy a little bit. And so they take the the foot off the accelerator pedal, and then so it, it's not that I'm over the player coach thing. It's more of like they just need all these teams nowadays, especially with all these young talents. They have a lot of discipline problems. I don't know why, but Nuri Sahin seemed like he would be like a strict coach, but maybe he had like a soft spot, for certain players.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't like not that long ago that he was playing with these guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get all that. But yeah, like I mean, so obviously they sacked him after 6 months in charge. Definitely much a correlation from how they performed in the Champions League when they lost 2-1 to Bologna, or however the hell you pronounce it. Because I think Kelsey has tried to correct me on that a few times. I'm not Italian, guys. I'm not. Erik can confirm I'm not Italian. I don't know where Dortmund is in the Champions League right now. I don't. I think there's not in a great spot, but maybe
They're surviving. They're
they're
surviving.
surviving. But yeah. So and I mean, currently in the table, they're currently 10th place, 7 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses, and have a goal differential of 1. So
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not the same Borussia Dortmund, and I mean it's so hard because when you have like because you have players.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well,
the
okay.
crazy part.
Let me ask you this though. So, what do you think right now with the whole situation that happened with Marco Reus leaving, after all this time? Do you think that also had an impact in their playing abilities, their players? Like, they needed that coach, or they needed that player there. They needed that team leader. They needed that captain to be there on the field or even on the sidelines, because it's like he left and he kind of, went back, not down, but it was like, okay, now who's the
I
face of this team? Now who's the one that's going to be leading them? And then
I think
it
that's
wasn't the
a
same.
I think that's a valid point, but I mean I think near the end I don't think Marco Reus was like a regular starter when he was at the end of his time with Borussia Dortmund, which is kind of funny because of the whole thing of Borussia Dortmund players leaving and then going and winning titles. Which is funny enough, Marco Reus went ahead and won the MLS Cup.
Yep.
You still have Schlotterbeck. Like
Yep.
that should be one of your leaders. Sabitzer is another guy that should be stepping up. I mean, essentially, he kind of took over that 10 role, which I
hmm
believe. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Marco Russo started taking over as a 10
Yeah.
late at
He
near the end.
he did it's because like he didn't have that same running ability that when he was a winger,
Yeah,
he didn't have that, and it's okay. It happens. I mean,
yeah,
shoot, with age, it happens. I mean, look at Messi. Messi was playing more of a 10 role instead of his normal wing role.
which is perfectly
Same thing with
fine.
same thing with Ronaldo. Ronaldo, instead of being a winger, he was playing more just as a striker up top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have Kobel. I mean, Sabitzer. That's I wouldn't say I expect him to be a leader or anything, but I mean, that's still a guy that is taking that 10 role, right?
hmm
Um, Emre Khan is the captain, so he should be able to at least like remember what Marco Reus expected from them. So there's guys, right? Like there's guys that you could see that you know that should be able to be leaders for this team. So I
Yeah.
don't. I think that's unfortunate if they don't if they feel that they can't step up in a way, but I think obviously the big flaw for Borussia Dortmund this year is they've just been giving up goals, man. They've been scoring. I mean, you got Girassi who has like 15 goals. Giddens, the left winger, has 11 goals as well. Um, and I mean, Adi, like there's a lot of talent on this team, man. Like you still have Adeyemi.
hmm
Malin is still pretty good quality. Brandt, I keep forgetting he's on the team.
Yeah.
Um, Gio Reyna's healthy. That's all I gotta say. I don't really have anything else to mention about that. Um, knock on wood, he's healthy. There's that other American that I'm keeping an eye on. Campbell, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
I think he just started getting some playing time. For Dortmund, I don't think he's like scored a goal or anything, but that's
hmm
still a guy that I'm like keeping an eye on. Just because America. But
Miracle.
yeah, but so there's players to be excited about as far as when it comes to Borussia Dortmund. which is always going to be the thing with Borussia Dortmund. You're going to have young, exciting players, and here comes in who the guy, or at least the guy they're hoping to get to come in and kind of steer the ship. Because I don't think 10th place is necessarily like the end of the world. Especially we've seen teams in worse positions, and I'm not saying win the league. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not crazy, but at least get into a European competition spot.
A decent position on the table, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean they're not too far off, I think. And the name that apparently is on top of Borussia Dortmund's list, and Edward, I'll let you take it over from here, but it's Erik Ten Hag.
Oh God. I mean, to be fair, to be fair, he is a very strict disciplinarian. It's just I don't think he was playing the players in the right positions where they should have been playing when it came to Manchester United.
It's also kind of
But
funny that there's rumors about Marcus Rashford going to Dortmund.
yeah, yeah, which that would be the end of the career for Rashford if Ten
Rash
Hag goes and he decides not to use him.
Rashford would just be like, I just can't leave this guy.
Like this guy cannot leave me alone. If anything, do you think we because of the rumors of the managers and stuff, like you think he might be like, you know what? I'm not going to Dortmund. Screw that.
The whole Rashford thing is crazy now because now I think there's rumors about him. I think Barcelona has come out, which I mean, it
Dude,
goes
he would
back
be
to
the first.
how can you okay, you can suddenly afford his salary? So, like,
Well, yeah, because now they're no longer in the freaking positions where they're
well, I mean,
they're
yeah,
fucking up.
okay, that's fair. That's a fair point. I think I keep thinking that Barcelona is still broke, but no, fair enough. Which is just funny because they go from like, all right, now we're good enough. It's like when you paid off your car and you decided, oh, F it, let me go get another, let me take out this car loan and buy another car.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm like thinking right now. Is just, I mean, would that be a Hansi Flick guy? And I think he would. I really think he, wow, bro. I
Well,
think
Rashford?
Rashford wouldn't be a bad shout for Flick.
I mean, but do you really want to mess right now with the
I don't. But coming off
with
the
the
bench, which is crazy thing because you're gonna pay that salary.
well, no, coming off the bench, but then the thing is you would have to renegotiate his salary if anything,
I mean,
and
it's
he
gonna
would
be
have
a
to take it.
loan.
Yeah. Well,
At least gonna be a loan
maybe.
for the meantime. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe Barcelona decides to buy him. I mean, I don't know. It's hilarious, and I think Juventus is out now because I think they got Koulibaly. So,
Yeah.
which I was really hoping Arsenal was gonna get him. Anyways, but Ten Hag. Look, I mean, you're talking about Borussia Dortmund, a team that's known for its academy. I mean, we saw him do very well with Ajax. I understand Ajax, at least at the time, was the
Well,
only
then,
team in the
and then
Eredivisie, which is
you know
now
what?
clearly not the case.
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna take it back. Ten Hag might be what Borussia needs because now you started mentioning Ajax. Um, Ajax is a very predominantly strict club when it comes to playing style. Very standard playing style, basic, not tiki-taka, but very just,
Total football.
total football, basically. And Manchester United is exactly what it needs. Or I'm sorry, Manchester. Borussia Dortmund is exactly what it needs at the moment. I think right now with Nuri Sahin, what they were doing mostly is like wing plays. Like they were using mostly the wings, uh,
Which
trying
makes
to
sense.
just
Which makes sense because of the goals that came off the wings.
yeah.
So,
I mean, like even you said, like the wingers were the ones that had the most of the goals. Yeah, because like all they would do is just push the ball up. They were basically playing like that old school style of EPL league football, where they would just shoot it all the way from the back and let's hope the forward gets it kind of vibe to it. But with Ten Hag, it may be possible. Now that I think about it, like it may be possible that he could restructure everything up to whether he's going to require everybody to be at a very strict pace, very strict play style. Just keep it like total football, not just tiki taka, not just over the shoulders, win your defender's back kind of balls, like just sprint and I'll get you the ball over there kind of plays. Like I think it's gonna be a little bit better.
It's crazy to think this guy won you an FA Cup, kept his job for like a little bit longer.
It's like
Uh,
any achievement he would do. Okay, this buys you 2 more days. Okay, this buys you a month. Okay, this buys you 3 more months. It's like
it's
it's like he was
crazy
playing
because
it's like he was playing like the lottery scratchers. Like you instead of winning like the big payday, he
you
goes
get
ahead
like
and
ten
like just
bucks or something like
yeah,
that.
you got like $10. Okay, I got $10. This is gonna last me a week. Okay, I got $25. Okay, hey, I got $500. All right, this is gonna last me a while. Let me go ahead and keep buying lottery scratchers. It's the same shit. That's exactly what he was doing. It was like little
But like,
things
what
here
was
and there would
crazy to
like
me
help him
because
out.
going to the FA Cup final against Man City, the whole thing was that regardless of what happens in this match, Ten Hag's getting fired. Like that's
Yeah.
all I heard going into this game of Man City versus Manchester United for the FA Cup was that it doesn't matter what the result is, Ten Hag's getting fired. And I remember everyone being like relieved, like all the Manchester United fans that I knew were relieved at the
I
idea.
was, I mean, I'll be honest, I was a bit relieved. I was like,
Like you were
yeah,
just like kind of like, oh my god, this is gonna be over. I don't care what happens today or anything like that. They win the FA Cup. And I think maybe a little bit behind also was like they were kind of like I don't think he's gonna win this game. This to
yeah.
be honest, I was like it's Man City. It's a tall
Dude,
task sometimes.
honestly, even I was just like, man, what is gonna happen? Like that's my thing. Like I was like,
And like I said in
what
the
is gonna happen?
and like I said in the podcast when I was talking about that FA Cup final, for a brief moment I was in full like what's the full euphoria when when Manchester United beat Man City because at the end of the day it's fuck Man City. But then it kind of came back down to earth when I realized crap, Arsenal didn't win a single trophy this season except for the Community Shield, which I don't want to acknowledge that. Um, but
I was about to tell you, what about the community shield? And then you're like, oh, I
yeah,
don't want to acknowledge it.
everyone knows how I feel about Super Cups. Um, but yeah, no, like as soon as that happened, I was just like, oh crap, damn, yeah. That's all I.
This dude said, oh crap, yeah.
That's literally what I said as soon as
This
like
dude.
I was like hyped up. I was happy for you that you got the FA Cup at least. And I mean, it was kind of I think for you for Manchester United fans, and I'm not trying to speak for you, Edward, but I'm sure it was like awesome. There's hope. We can build off of this. Ten Hag will be gone. There's something to build for this team now. There's confidence. And then Ten Hag's thing.
Yep.
So yeah, and I mean, they fired him eventually. I mean, I don't know. Amorim, I don't think it's panning out too well. But
I
at
just
least on the flip side for Borussia Dortmund, I don't think that their season's necessarily over. I mean, maybe Champions League might maybe, but like as far as the season goes, I mean, we've seen teams not just in the Bundesliga, but just everywhere, have been in that mid-table spot and found their way into a better position on the table. So, maybe it's Ten Hag, maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. I really don't know any other manager. I think the name is Ten Hag. I think Dortmund is a really good opportunity. I think it's a good.
yeah.
I think you have the fan base, you have the history, you have the academy. So I think it's not a bad place, especially if you want to have a bounce back.